is up once again, everybody? You know who this is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by my song of the day, Rock 2000 to today. What's going on? How's everybody doing? How's it hanging? Happy Tuesday to you as well, because, well, we shoot these videos every single Tuesday. Can you believe we're already at episode 25 for this? I mean, this is like, what, the silver anniversary if you were getting married? But yeah, we're at 25 episodes. This is awesome that we've been doing this since, I believe, maybe March. So at the end of July, we're through 25. Will we hit, 52 by the end of the year? Of course, we'll probably maybe hit 60 even with some special ones. Who knows what we might do? But that's what we're going to go with from there. If you are a first-time listener, I want to welcome you to the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by my song of the day. Here we just talk music, go deep dive into stuff, and talk to some fans, some bands. We'll see what we got. And I do have a great guest for you today. Have a great guest. Small band. They're going to be featured on Small Band Saturday. If you're a returning listener, I love you guys. Absolutely love you. Thank you for being a returning listener. Now, before we get into the show where we have our interview, and yes, I do have some new music to talk about. And no, I will not be going into the new Slipknot single because that came out on, I believe it was Monday of last week. And, well, I'm not Loudwire. I'm not going to go that deep dive into it. But I do have new music to talk about, too, along with that band. But before we do that, let's go into our shameless plugs. So our shameless plug section, this is where we do ads, but we don't have ads at the current moment. So we just kind of plug our own stuff. This is the Chord Progression Podcast. It is brought to you by my song of the day, Rock 2000 to today, the best rock community on the internet. And how do we do that? We do that in a couple of ways. How do we do that? Tell them how, Kevin. Tell them how. Well, I'm going to tell you how. We've got multiple different places for you to follow us. On Facebook, that's where you get all the content, where you get to see, what the song of the day is. You get to see all the podcast previews. You get to see the YouTube previews. So you're going to want to like us on Facebook. All the links to this up in the description below, might I add. You're going to want to follow us on Twitter. That's where we talk music, and you also get to see the song of the day posts. So then you go to Instagram. Instagram's the big one. We do Song of the Day posts. We ask you questions. We connect with you guys a lot more. Along with Twitter, we connect with you guys a lot as well on Twitter. But then we do other things on Instagram as well, such as our IGTV videos, which is a behind-the-scenes look at what we're doing and what we're thinking and maybe what we're going to go forward for. And our Instagram live streams, which that is huge. So in our Instagram live streams, that's where you come 9 p.m. Central every Wednesday night. Sometimes they change on date just based on, what's going on in my life because I'm the one doing them. And we just talk music for an hour. It's great. I'd love to have you on there. We also have our YouTube channel where we've been doing album reviews, band reviews, answering questions, doing some deep dive reviews into stuff. So I'd love to have you subscribe to that channel as well. Again, link in the description below. We recently did a bunch of album reviews, such as Sum 41's new album, Crown the Empire's new album. We'll do Volbeats and Slipknots and Skillets and Killswitch Engages and Tools and Wage Wars and Sleeping with Sirens. I'm just rattling off ones that are coming up within the next month and a half that we're going to be doing album reviews on that I am excited about. So you're going to want to check that out. Also, because you're on the Chord Progression Podcast, hey, if you're check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or YouTube, because we put these on YouTube as well. Hey, I'm loving you guys. Also, Small Band Saturday. This is where this other band's going to come in because we feature small bands every Saturday. So Small Band Saturday featuring small bands. Little side note, one thing we haven't been doing on Instagram is we haven't been actually featuring the music on Instagram, just on our Alexa skill. So what we're going to be doing in the near future is featuring a preview, like a 30-second preview on Instagram when we do the Song of the Day post for small bands and potentially every single one that we do, just to give you guys a little taste of what the song sounds like so you can listen to it fully on our Alexa skill. Or you can listen to it wherever you want. Now, on our Alexa skill, that's kind of the main reason that's kind of started. So our Alexa skill, it's a great way to, get your day started, discover new bands, rediscover old bands, get going through the middle day, end the day. So all you have to do is go enable the Alexa skill on your Alexa skill device and say, hey, Alexa, play my song of the day. That's where Alexa will say, playing your song of the day. When Alexa does that, basically all you're going to do is just hear the whole entire song in its entirety. And once it's over, boom, it's over. 24 hours later, boom, you can listen to a brand new song. But you can listen to these as much as you want. There's no limit, and it's all free. So, again, descriptions for all that and links in the description below. But now, I'm done with that. I'm done talking about that kind of stuff just because, well, let's put it this way. We got a band to interview. Kevin's got a band to interview, another one? Yeah, so last week we had Gold Frank Zimmer, or GFM. We've had a couple other bands, a couple other people in the past, but I've got one for you. They are called Total Eclipse. They're a punk rock band. I honestly do not know where they're from. We will find that out soon enough. They're a band that when we put out our ad for Small Band Saturday for the end of 2019, we wanted to fill up all those slots. They reached out to us and they want to be on there, like their punk rock style. So we're going to put them on sometime later in the year. And when I said, hey, I put on Instagram story saying anyone want to be in the podcast, they responded. And I'm like, yeah, let's get them on. So let's give them a call, shall we? Well, do I have everything on? I don't. Oh my God, here we go. Let's call them. And if they don't pick up, I'm going to be scared once again because I don't want them to not pick up. That'd be scary. Second ring. My heart is beating. Do.
Hello?
Hey, is this Aaron?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah! What's up, Aaron? It's Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by my song of the day, Rock 2000 to today. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fan-diddly-tastic. You bet your sweet bippy I am, or, I'm just kind of rambling off about stuff. Is it just you today, or do we got the rest of the band there, or what's up with that?
We have half the band today. I'm also joined by my drummer, Seth. Hi.
And Aaron, what do you play, just so we can let the fans know? And hi, Seth.
I'm the guitarist.
Alrighty, well, to start off, why don't you give us a little bit of background on you guys, just what kind of style of music you play, where you're from, and what you're doing right now.
We're from Claremont, California, which is a suburb of LA, just right on the outskirts of LA County. And we started kind of as an accident almost, because my friend texted me and was like, hey man, do you still have a band? And at the time I didn't. And I just told him, yes, I did. And so I formed a band real quick just to play a show in Chino. And then we just kind of stayed together after that.
Okay,
and,
so then how did that show go that you started out by saying, basically lying that you had a band and then just playing one show? So how did that whole entire thing evolve, and how did that show go into becoming what it is right now?
It went okay for a band's first show. I think it was a solid first show. And, but the first show crowd, it's your parents and like two of your best friends kind of thing.
Yeah, but then again, that's how every band starts out though.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite bands, Hollywood Undead, is their song Undead. And they basically call that out right at the end of the song. Kind of like you never thought you'd get here because we were beginning by playing shows for only family and friends. And now look at where they're at now.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, we just released our EP last month, I believe, and then we have another album in the works. It's about 13-ish songs, and then we have our next show. It's in LA. We're opening for Michael Graves from the Misfits.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
So when was that first show that you played? Like, what was the date?
It was June 23rd.
So
2018.
Okay, so you've been pretty much at the Total Eclipse project for about a little over a year now, would you say?
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And during that first show, were you playing original stuff, or were you playing a lot of cover songs?
All covers.
all punk rock covers?
Yes and no. There was what did we play? I know we played Killing in the Name of, for sure.
I think we played Holiday in Cambodia.
Yeah.
So that's a one punk cover. Astro Zombies by the Misfits.
We play Astro Zombies every single gig we do.
Yeah.
I think we played Sugar We're Going Down, and then there was one more. We played Lump.
Lump by the Presidents of the United States of America.
Very nicely done, because you say you're opening up for... who are you opening up for again? I just completely forgot. It just...
Michael Graves. He was the singer for Misfits on the Famous Monsters album.
Did you guys go and see that show in LA when they had the original Misfits back together?
Oh, no. I wanted to go so badly, though.
I was on Instagram just looking at people just posting stuff about that show, and I'm just was getting big FOMO. But then again, I'm 1,800, 2,000 miles away. There was no way in hell I was gonna be able to make it out there. But I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me! You get the original Misfits out there. You've got Rise Against out there as well. What more would you want?
There's a video of it on YouTube. It's not the entire set, but it's most of it, and it looked just awesome. Like the set and everything, like the stage, it was beautiful.
Well, I mean, when you go to a punk rock show, that's pretty much what you're going to get. You're just going to get one hell of a time, no matter what.
For sure.
Man.
And that's what we try to do. Our last show was at the Glass House, and like people they were going crazy, man. They loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of mosh pits that you guys were able to form, or was it just people just headbanging, going absolutely nuts and having a great time?
A little bit of both, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, we were like, I threw a stick into the crowd, and like I high-fived Aaron's dad at the end, and it was great. It was fantastic.
I broke a string, and we still had 2 songs left.
Yeah. Oh, I broke a stick, and I cracked 2 cymbals. It was pretty good. It was a good day.
Okay, so now I got to ask you questions about this, because I was trying to be a drummer when I was a kid, but then when I was like 14 years old going to high school, I had to decide between playing drums and going to play soccer. And at that point in my life, I was a much bigger sports kid, so I went to go play soccer, kind of foregone the drums, and now I'm doing all this stuff instead. So probably should have stuck with the music, but I remember playing, and I would always get yelled at for, you're playing too loud, you're playing too hard, you're going to end up cracking something or breaking something. Broke a couple of snare heads back when I was like 12 or 13, but
Nice.
Cracking 2 cymbals in the middle of a show. I mean, how did you manage to get through the rest of the show with that, and kind of what did it sound like between your normal cymbal sound and now with it being cracked?
Well, okay, it was fine. Like at first, I didn't really notice it. Like there's a lot of lines towards the edge, and at first I was like, oh, it's okay. Like it's just like part of the cymbal, you know. And then as I was playing, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I was like, that is not supposed to be there. And I kept playing with it. And at the end of the show, there was this huge crack in it that I could move the pieces against each other, and it was not good. It didn't shatter completely, but yeah, it was bad. Since then, I've gotten new cymbals, of course. But yeah, it sounded the same. There wasn't a huge difference. Yeah, it just kind of threw me off.
Was anyone in the audience able to really see what happened as well, or did they just kind of go along with it and not really even notice that you cracked a couple of cymbals?
They didn't even notice it. The crack was maybe 2 inches, yeah. 1 or 2 inches. But a broken stick, it's pretty noticeable. So I threw it in front of me, just towards the crowd. And then I just grabbed another one really quick off on the side, and I just kept on playing.
You always have to make sure you have a couple extra sticks on the side as well, because I think I broke maybe 1 or 2 sticks while doing a jazz band thing even. Hey, I was not a jazz band kid. That was just basically all we had, and I'm just when I was in grade school, I'm just I wanted to play basically stuff that I was actually starting to get into at that point, so everything I was listening to, I think when I was 7th, 8th grade, was Disturbed, so I'm just I just want to just hammer it out, just go nuts, and of course I'm playing I'm just playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just this hi-hat, snare, that's all I was doing. But now I gotta jump to Aaron. So you broke a string on your guitar with 2 songs left.
Yeah.
And was that the only guitar you have?
It's not the only guitar I have. It's the only guitar I brought.
Okay, so how did you get through those 2 songs missing a string?
I played. I acted as if it was there and just kept playing. And it was weird, especially with chords and power chords, because it was my A string, which I needed for power chords, you know?
So did the sound just go completely different after that?
See, for a while, I didn't realize it was broken and something didn't feel right. And so it was kind of flopping around. And I think it was smacking the pickups, and the amp was picking it up, that flopping sound. And so what I ended up doing was actually just taking off the string and then playing the guitar like I would normally.
Wow. So, I mean, just think about that. I've heard, every time I bring out a band, I always want to know what their crazy concert stories are, because I've gotten ones from, just absolutely going nuts to throwing cupcakes, and now I've just people thrashing, getting punched in the face on stage. And now I've got, literally trying to break your instruments without trying to break them. So is it the craziest ones you guys got, or do you have any other stories when it comes to, the crazy stuff that's happened to you while you're playing at a concert?
Not while we're playing, but one show, and we wrote a song about it.
Oh,
Seth, you tell this.
Okay, so all right, we played a show, and it went really well. It was at the Fox, and it was just we were just one of many bands that were playing. It was a good show. It was a lot of fun. But after we were driving home after the gig, and I was following Robert, and like we pulled off to the side because we lost some people. And when I pulled off to the side, I get a knock on my window, and I look outside the window, and there's this lady there. And so I roll down the window, and she was like, "Hey, honey, you looking for a good time?" I was like, "Oh, no, thank you. Good night." And she was like, "All right, see you later, honey." And like I roll back up the window, and Robert comes in, and he's like, "Hey, man, who was that?" I was like, I don't know. And so we get back to rehearsal, and like we're talking about it, and we're like, "Dude, we should totally write a song called $20 Hope." And and it's funny because it's our best song on Spotify right now. It has the most plays. It's great. Oh, it was a funny memory, man.
Well, when you have something crazy like that happen and you want to write a song about it, you just have to go with it, because anytime you hear songs, it's usually stuff that comes from a very personal place or some kind of crazy story. Those usually are the songs that resonate the most with the audience. And just how ridiculous that story is, just randomly pulling over and all of a sudden getting a knock on the window saying, "Hey, honey, want a good time?" And then write a song about it. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I mean, and then like you said, it's number 1 on Spotify for you guys.
Yeah. Man, what else? What else do we have? One of our other good songs is F is for Soup. And that was about a band that we had back in high school. And it was bad. It was just not good. Like the singer, like she just cried all the time, and she just complained about just like life, and like she would flip it too, and she would like lash out at us and be like, "Am I a good singer, guys?" And it was just bad. It was just bad all around. And so we wrote a song about it, and that song is called F is for Soup.
Where'd you come up with the title F is for Soup, and how does that all tie in? Because that's a very intriguing title, because it's kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
The band's name was Soup Bowls, which was spelled SOOP instead of SOUP. So that's where the soup part came. But then the F part, it was originally called F. Press F to pay respects, like the memes, you know, when someone dies, people in the comments always put like F and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It was from the Call of Duty.
Yeah.
From I think it was Modern Warfare 3. When you pay respects to one of the characters in the game, press F to pay respects.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that's where that whole meme came from.
So that's basically just how we made the title. It was one of those things where like, what are we gonna call this? And then it jokes, you know.
Yeah. It's also because like, you know, like F that band, you know.
So when did you guys have that band in high school? What time frame?
It was my freshman year, so that was about 4 years ago, because I just graduated.
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
So you guys are basically just out of high school, and now you're trying to make it with your band Total Eclipse?
Well, actually, everyone else in the band is around 23. I'm 17, though.
Parker's 22. He's going to be 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 20.
Okay, that's not the first time I've had some kind of an age difference like that interviewing a band. I believe I interviewed a band. The third one I interviewed was called Trivial Difference. They had guys that were just out of high school, and they had a guy that was my age at 24. So it's like, okay, I can see where the difference in age goes, but still, you're not all that far off, because as time goes on, as you get older, it's like that difference between being 6 years older, that gap seems to diminish. So you guys are in a good spot, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Also, our bassist just showed up right now, Robert.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, Robert? How you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fan-diddly-tastic. You know, all Ned Flanders style. Oakley-dokley, diddly-diddly.
Go wrong with that.
Oh, have you heard the Ned Flanders band?
Yes, I have.
That's some quality stuff. They're actually pretty good.
They're good, but it's their whole entire thing to try and get people to listen to them is the fact that they're the Ned Flanders band, and they dress up all like Ned Flanders.
Yeah, I think what's even better is the fans that come to the show dressed as different Simpsons characters. That just ties it all in.
I've never heard of this.
Oh, you have to check them out, man. They're absolutely hilarious. Well, they play good music, but just like the whole entire premise of it is absolutely hilarious. Along with this one other band that I listen to, they're not really rock or metal, but they're more funk. They're called Here Come the Mummies. They literally are just a bunch of guys that dress up as mummies and play shows in full mummy garb. And I think their whole entire premise is they've like come back from the dead to bring their sexiness and arousal to the crowd. And they just talk all about that kind of stuff. It's absolutely hilarious. They come to the Wisconsin State Fair every single year, and my family's always like, we have to go see them play.
That is amazing.
So now if we can get the Ned Flanders band to show up, perfect. Just perfect.
Yeah. The Mummy should open for Ned Flanders. I'd go and see that.
I would see that too.
Man.
I don't care which one opens for who. I just want to see them both play at the same time, like the same show. That'd be awesome.
Or have them like a band versus band.
Ned Flanders versus the Mummies. Yo.
Kind of like that whole scene with the Tanaka twins from
And Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim versus
Oh,
the World.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Out of the band, but instead it's the Ned Flanders band and the Mummies, and it's just amp versus amp.
Oh, that would be absolutely hysterical. I'd pay some serious money to go see that show.
For sure.
Yeah, goodbye band fund.
Yeah, goodbye 2 months paychecks.
Oh, trust me, I pretty much like the past 2 days or 3 days I've spent maybe I don't know how much money in concert tickets, but it's been ridiculous. So it's like there goes my money for the week or month or year.
I know.
But for good cause. It's for good cause.
Well, when Disturbed decides to add one last show to their tour and it's in Milwaukee, I'm like, well, there's no fucking way I'm missing that. And then
Amen.
And then Riot Fest in Chicago was like, okay, now we're doing single day tickets as well. And I'm like, okay, let's see what day I want to go. Saturday, boom, done.
Nice.
And that's like they got Slayer as the headliner for their last Chicago/Milwaukee show, but that's not the real reason I care to go. It's the band that goes on before them because, well, I need to see Rise Against again. I just have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Black Flag in Big Bear in September.
You guys going to that?
Yeah.
So you better be.
I was never informed of this.
$30.
Ooh, I know what I'm doing next paycheck.
I'll say you better know what you're doing next paycheck with that. You got to go see Black Flag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I just spent some other money too to go see Pennywise and Anti-Flag when they show up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whoa.
That's pretty sick.
Well, I'll put it this way. I'm not necessarily the biggest Pennywise fan. It's just I do like the sound. I just haven't really fully got into it. I got really into Anti-Flag like a couple of months ago, just out of nowhere. Just got a huge kick on them. So I'm like, yeah, I got to go see this shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I was actually
oh,
Pennywise on
shoot, my bad. Continue. I completely cut you off. My bad.
I just said that I was listening to Pennywise on the way here.
Oh, well, perfect timing then. Woohoo! Well, kind of just talking about that, I kind of want to see where you guys are when it comes to, because of course, you know, you guys are, you know, either, well, like one of you 17 and the others are in your early 20s. So while you were growing up, you had to have some sort of a musical influence that got you to this point. So what kind of music were you listening to when you were growing up?
Robert, you want to start?
For me, it was kind of a little bit of a mixture of everything from Spanish music to like rock and metal. So like I would listen to a lot of like Linkin Park, System of a Down, 9 Inch Nails, and a lot of other bands like that when I was kind of growing up. And then now like my music taste has changed a bit in a sense. Like I listen to like a lot of Black Flag now, a lot of Misfits, and a lot of Dead Kennedys too. And then I also have like a lot of like metal music. So like I have like Gojira, I have who else? Sepultura, Ectomorph, and a lot of other bands like that. And then also Tool and A Perfect Circle are some of like my biggest influences. Actually, for one of the main reasons why I picked up a bass.
Interesting, especially with the fact that, you know, we haven't had a new Tool album in 13 years, but we're finally getting one at the end of August, so
dude,
woo,
yes,
finally.
I'm super hyped about that, trust me. I've been waiting years for this one.
A lot of people have been waiting years for that one. I mean,
Yeah, 13 to be exact.
Yeah, pretty much.
all right, so what about one of your other guys? You want to take that question, what music you really grew up on and how that taste has changed into where you are today?
Okay, for me, I started off with like I just like my earliest memory of music or like being influenced by music was like my parents and like my grandmother of just playing like classic like 90s hip hop and like old like Motown and stuff like that, just like that good like soul kind of music. And like I don't know, it's just like that's how I like got the rhythm. And and then move on to like middle school and like more towards like early high school. That's when like I started to like have like a My Chemical Romance phase, like most people do. And just like started listening to like Panic at the Disco when they were good before they sold out. And like yeah, just like listening to stuff like that. I remember listening to like Modest Mouse, the Wombats, their first album, not like the weird poppy shit that they have now. The Kooks for a little bit, and then I started like going more towards like the heavier stuff towards later high school, early college. I started listening to more like Rage Against the Machine. Aaron got me into Misfits, Black Flag. What's that one? They do Institutionalized.
Oh,
Suicidal Tendencies. Yeah. Descendants. That's when I started getting more and more into that. And slowly but surely it kind of like influenced my drumming as well. I started drumming when I was like in middle school. And since then I've taken on kit and I played at my church. I played with like 3, 4 bands almost. And like, just like developing my sound as more of like a rock drummer. And then now as like a punk drummer and just keeping like a wide variety of sound, but it's definitely more going towards like metal and punk and hard rock more than usual now, thanks to these guys.
Kind of listening to that, I'm rather intrigued that you started out in more of that 90s hip hop and Motown era when it came to your musical taste. But then again, when you're growing up, when you're young, your musical taste, what you're really listening to, really just driven off of what your parents are listening to. So I can totally understand where that comes, because I was the same way. And then when it comes to that middle school, early high school, when you get in that MCR kick, that teen angsty feel and those vibes, oh, that hits hard. And then it all kind of just evolves. It usually evolves from like right at that point, because from everyone else I've seen, including myself, everyone was into that, pop punk emo phase for a while, like, 2006, 2007, 2008. But then it all depended upon what happened after that. And there's a lot of people that kind of went back towards the poppy stuff, the sellout Panic at the Disco shit, which I just do not like.
Yeah.
Or there's other people that, just kind of stick with it and just stay the course of wherever it's going. Or you go harder and you just get in, some more hard rock bands, some more metal bands. And then eventually, your taste just evolved from there. And I want to touch on what you said when it came to drumming within like your church, within your church, correct?
Yeah.
I've actually seen and heard of a lot of drummers kind of come out, and that's really kind of where they got their start or drumming in front of an audience, was drumming at a church.
Yeah, totally, for sure. Like I know a lot of guitarists and like a few other drummers that started at church, but that's where I got like the feel for like a band and like staying in the pocket like as a group. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that might be the easiest place to really learn that, because everyone kind of has the same music to go off of when it comes to that. Music's been around for God knows how many years, so it's so set in stone that the flow of how the rest of the band works is based off of 60, 70, 80 years of history.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can easily see where that kind of comes in, and now I'll touch on the music and the song you sent me later, but I want to get one more. Because I think, was it Aaron who hasn't gone yet on that question?
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, I want to hear your musical roots.
So my musical roots, I think the earliest thing I remember is I had 2 CDs, and whenever I went in the car with my parents, I'd just be like, yo, put these in, please, like, please. And they were AC/DC, can't remember what album.
You can't remember what AC/DC album it was? Come on,
dude,
man.
I was young. I was very young. It was probably like a greatest hits or something. Like, that's what I'm assuming.
So if it's greatest hits, it's got to be like Back in Black.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like Back in Black, like Hell's Bells, all that. Like, people know them for. And then Beastie Boys was the other one.
Oh,
That one was Licensed to Ill, which to this day is still one of my favorite albums, by the way. And so Beastie Boys was kind of like my introduction to punk, if you think about it. I know they're not like totally punk, but they started that way, and they still kind of had that sound even in their hip hop stuff.
No, it totally makes sense. That actually really does.
Yeah, and then AC/DC was my introduction to guitar solos. And I remember telling my mom specifically, why does every song have a guitar solo? And it just made her laugh and made me laugh. And then Van Halen, she played Van Halen for me a lot. And I was like, what the hell is this? What is he doing? How is he doing that? I was freaked out. Mind you, I've never picked up a guitar in my life at this point, and I'm just blown away.
Okay, I got to give your mom major credit on that, because when it came to you wanting to, plug in, AC/DC, you're listening to one of the greatest guitarists with Angus Young, and then your mom's playing Van Halen, and you're getting a different sound, a different style, but equally as great with Eddie Van Halen.
Exactly. Yeah, I got to give huge props to my mom and dad. They showed me a lot of good music, and I don't think I'd be listening to a lot of the music without them. After that, though, I branched off to my own stuff, and I started listening to more like Metallica, early Metallica, of course, like thrash, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'm actually wearing a Ride the Lightning shirt right now. Slayer, Lamb of God, actually saw them. Behemoth, of course. And then, of course, my punk stuff. I love punk. It's pretty much what I listen to just all the time now. I'd say when I started picking up instruments, though, I didn't pick up guitar first. I picked up trombone. And I played that all through high school and like the rest of my like schooling and stuff. And so that was my introduction to like playing live, was trombone, because we'd go to jazz competitions and like the judges would be sitting there judging us. And that was like very nerve-wracking for us as high schoolers.
That had to be a major help, though, later down the line, due to the fact that you already had that experience of someone basically there specifically just to judge you and how you're doing.
For sure. Actually, I've never even told the guys this, but before every show, I always dip out like 5 minutes before and go to the restroom. And I always just douse my hair in water, and I just look at myself in the mirror for like a solid minute. And then I go on stage.
I do notice that your hair is like crazy wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no wonder.
Makes sense.
Makes a lot more sense now.
Because I still sometimes get those nerves, But
Well, breaking news on the Chord Progression podcast, Aaron douses his head with a bunch of water right before going on stage.
But yeah, those are my early influences. Just some good rock, good hip hop, I guess. A little bit of punk. Oh, Fall Out Boy, MCR, all that too.
Yeah, the teen angsty stuff.
Yeah.
That everyone goes through. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like, they say weed is a gateway drug. I say that's gateway music.
It really is.
It really is.
Amen.
Because even when I feature all that stuff on our My Song of the Day stuff, especially Thursdays, because I always try and do pop punk throwback Thursdays. Those are usually days where I get people like, oh, I haven't heard that song in such a long time. Oh, I remember when I used to like them. It's like, well, didn't we all at one point? And I will always do this because I think it is perfect, and there's no better way to do this. Always the Song of the Day feature, December 31st, no matter what day it is, it's going to be Welcome to the Black Parade, because that's the perfect song to end the year on.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I cannot argue.
Because even this year on New Year's Eve, I was hanging out with my friends, but then the group of them, like one group left, and then I had to go meet a different group at a bar, and I was about to miss the Happy New Year ball drop, all that kind of stuff, everyone. And I was sitting outside this bar, and it was like a minute left. I said, you know what, I'm gonna celebrate my own way, and I had my really old iPod on me. I had a pair of the old iPod earbuds in my pocket. Just popped them in to listen to the Welcome to Black Parade. I'm like, now this is the way to end the year and start the new one right.
Fuck yeah.
That is
man.
amazing.
That is awesome.
And I'll probably do the exact same thing at the end of 2019, end of 2020. I'm just gonna keep doing this up until probably, the day I die.
That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
I'll be like 80, 85 years old. All of a sudden, it's like I'm up at like 8:57 or 11:57. It's like, oh, it's you're gonna stay up. Yeah, I gotta listen to Welcome to the Black Parade. What the hell else am I supposed to do? It's New Year's. It's my new tradition.
The nurses at the nursing home are just like, what's that noise? They're all like, oh, it's just MCR. Calm down. He does it every year.
Yeah, but will the nurses at that point know MCR? They should, but will they?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, it's an old classical band.
And I'll still be headbanging, at 85. I'll probably, throw my neck out, throw my back out, be laid up for the next 3 weeks, but it will all be worth it.
That's the way to go.
Right there. Yeah.
That's the way to.
If I die that way, I will definitely be dying a very happy man.
How'd he die? He threw out his neck by listening to MCR.
That's the way he would have wanted it. And I want that in the eulogy. I want that in the obituary. I want that everywhere. And in the tombstone, he died doing what he loved. Headbanging, listening to great music.
Amen. Amen.
Oh, man.
All right, I want to jump into your music specifically. Specifically the one song you sent me to jump into Small Band Saturday to be the feature, which, again, is featured, will be featured. I think I sent you guys the date right before we started this.
Yeah, I got the email.
So, yeah, you guys are all set, ready to go. And when I was listening to it, I loved how it started out, because I believe it started out with with your lead singer yelling, "Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell." I'm just like, well, this is awesome, because that's one of the classic things you hear in any biology class. And it just makes no sense to be in there, but I absolutely love it.
That's exactly what that song is, in my opinion.
Oh, message received. Okay, great.
I mean, the verse alone, biology is a waste of time. Go walk on a beach. It'll save your life. Don't be a chump. Don't fall for buns. Keep it real. Keep it 100. What does that even mean,
It's just a bunch of stuff that, you just would write basically like in a biology class. You literally took that and just put it in a song.
Exactly.
And when I was listening to it, I was really trying to get a real vibe of kind of where the influence would be when it came to punk rock, who would be your core influence. And it really had more of like that old school punk rock feel from like the 80s and 90s. And the band it landed on specifically, which is one you guys already mentioned, was the Dead Kennedys.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
good.
Oh my God.
We're going for that. Okay, cool.
That is the best compliment anyone could have ever told us.
It took me 5 seconds. I'm like, I'm trying to make the comparison. Who can I compare this to? And I'm like thinking, all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, this is kind of like Dead Kennedys. I'm thinking Holiday in Cambodia, Police Truck. I'm like, yep, got it.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's funny, that song stands out from every other song on that EP because it's way faster, it's way harder, there's some anger behind it.
Yeah.
And this next album that's coming out, I tried to, in my guitar writing, go after more of what 101 was trying to channel, and I think we did it pretty well. Actually, it sounds way more Dead Kennedys, almost Minor Threat in my opinion. Like, that's how fast and angry this next one's gonna be.
I'm real intrigued to hear that, though, especially with the fact that I'm glad you sent me 101 as the feature song. If you guys are kind of going more towards that direction of a faster pace, kind of Dead Kennedys Minor Threat style, because it'll accurately portray what you're going after. So I'm excited to have everyone else listen to that, and I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast when I was doing my little intro, and I've got something else coming out on Instagram by the time this podcast comes out. But what I've been doing a lot for Small Band Saturday, and basically with every other feature, is I've been having them featured on our Alexa skill for everyone to listen to, and I've just been having the album artwork as like the post on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. But then I thought, that's just not doing enough. So by the time, I'll start this in September, but you guys are in line easily for this. I'm going to definitely do this for Small Band Saturday, though. I'm going to take like a 30-second clip of your song, and instead of doing just like a post of your album artwork on Instagram and just being like, oh, to this song of the day is this, there's actually be a 30-second preview of your song attached to it, so people will actually be able to hear in a maybe like a little bit more of like a sample style, but where the largest amount of our audience is, that they're going to be able to hear it very easily. So that's kind of getting you guys a little bit more exposure on that end.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome.
I probably should have started doing that way down the line, but it's a lot of it's my first time trying to do a lot of this stuff too. It's all trial and error on my end as well.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what's funny? Your Instagram, I really, really like it a lot. Because actually on our Instagram, and I try to be as consistent as possible, but every day I do a song of the day, but just on our story, not on a post. And like it'll have like music playing in the background, just say like song of the day on top of it. So it was kind of cool to like have your Instagram and then ours too.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I just have to add it and just make it a little bit more accessible for everyone else to listen to the music and for just make it the best experience possible for everybody. Because I'm always posting stuff about well, if there's new music coming out, like if there's a new single that drops, I'll usually post a story comment about it. Or if it's like a new album, I will have a whole post on it because, well, it's a new album. You got like I want people to listen to it. Because I'm gonna be doing a review on it, and I want to hear what people have to say. So
Yeah.
and then also I ask a bunch of random questions too, just because I like to get I like to see what people are listening to. I like to see what people think. I like to spark a huge conversation around music because I love talking about it. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
different for everyone, and everyone just experiences it in different ways. And that's what's great about lyrics. They don't mean one thing. They mean multiple different things, and it depends on what the listener is thinking while they're listening to it.
I went through a lot of that when I was doing my review of the Disguise album by Motionless in White, because when I had a huge Motionless in White fan on the podcast, and we basically went through the album song by song, and we were bouncing ideas off of what it meant and how it really meant, like what each song really, what we thought it meant, and a lot of times we were kind of aligned. Like the base idea was aligned, but the specifics of like what we thought the song was going to be about and what it really meant, the specifics were where we really differed. And I love to get that because I always ask the question, where did you come up with that idea, or why did you think that? And then seeing the context behind, okay, I came up with this because in my life I went through something like this and it really resonated well. It might mean something completely different because of what I went through in life. And I love that kind of a conversation. It gets me more into learning about the music and learning about why people like the music they like.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
So speaking of that, what are you guys listening to today, like new music wise, like stuff that's come out recently? What are you really big on?
Recently.
I'm talking stuff that's already been released. We'll get into like the rest of the year, like what is yet to be released. But I want to see if you guys listen to anything that it came out in 2019 and you guys are big on it.
Oh, you know what? Shout out to our friends at Apollo 03. They just released possibly their best album yet in 2019. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
They're a local band just like us. I believe they're from like Covina, I think.
Yeah, Kavina.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most listened to thing in 2019 for me, at least. Robert, do you have anything?
Possibly the newest Slipknot album.
Oh yeah,
That one was actually really good.
I'm pumped for that.
Yeah, we got about 2 weeks, and we got about a week and a half. Well, by the time this podcast airs, we'll have a week and a half until that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what's come out of it so far?
Yeah,
It's been
really
amazing.
good.
I gotta quickly jump on that Apollo 03 one because oddly enough, the week before I feature you guys, they're the feature.
No way.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
They're like our sister band.
Yeah, we love those guys.
We
Yeah.
play almost every show with those guys. The one where we're opening for Michael Graves, they're also playing that one.
Yeah.
I've got you guys on back-to-back Saturdays.
That's amazing.
That's crazy.
That could not have worked out better.
That is just sheer coincidence, and it's absolutely hilarious.
I
great.
love that.
That is fantastic.
I hope they hear this.
Yeah, I really hope they hear this.
I'm pretty sure they will.
Oh yeah.
Because if they're on another small band Saturday, then I'm pretty sure they listen to it regularly. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna hear this. And
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gonna have a lot of fun, and they're probably gonna text us as soon as it happens. Like, no way, you were there too.
Or if not, or just like be like, hey, check out the podcast that we were on. There's something funny you guys are gonna want to hear, and then all of a sudden, boom, bombshell drop. But they actually might think it's about Aaron dousing his head in water before every show.
It's definitely the topic of this podcast.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. But what other new music that has already come out are you bullish on? Well, bullish isn't, really big on.
You got anything, Seth?
Robert's thinking.
Having a think. Give me a second.
Okay, like for me, like I feel so bad, but like I haven't really been listening to new music because like I've just been listening. Okay, so like I'm gonna just say it. I'm kind of like the pussy of the band. Like I listen to like the softest, like weird hip hop stuff. Like sometimes, and they made a playlist for me that's like full of metal and like classic punk, and I've just been like. That's just been my heavy rotation for like the past 3 weeks. So like I haven't really had time to listen to new music. I can't. I feel so bad. I can't contribute to this conversation.
Oh, another band like that came out fairly recently. Like I heard that one of their most recent albums dropped like in like February, I think. They're called Idols. They're like a British like post-punk band from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have been listening to Idols.
They're really cool. They're like when I've explained them to like some of my other friends, I tell them it's a really simple like sound.
Yeah.
But it's just that sound that kind of like just instinctively gets you to just get up and start jumping around. Like one of my favorite songs by them has to be between Never Fight a Man with a Perm and Danny Danelco. That song's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to give a listen to their stuff because I've never really heard of them up until you guys mentioned them. So if you guys are big on them, I'm very curious to hear what they have.
Oh, like the singer's voice is like a really guttural kind of like just yell. He doesn't necessarily have like a tone, or he doesn't sing like notes. It's just a raspy growl throughout the whole song.
Like that standard like Scottish like screaming kind of like drunk guy at a bar. He has like that kind of sound. Like if that guy went up and did karaoke, that's his lead singer from the Idols.
Pretty much.
So kind of like I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Kind of like a poor man's version of Brian Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like a punk Brian Johnson.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta listen to this. That sounds absolutely insane.
It's pretty cool.
I really like like in the song "Never Fight a Man with a Perm," they go from a simple like, a 4/4 kick snare.
They have a 6/8 trick.
And then like for their chorus, they switch it up into like a 6/8 where they're all just chanting, and it sounds so cool.
Yeah.
And then for their song Danny Nadelko, that song they have this like their chorus, it's kind of normal, as in like music wise, it's just kind of like a typical like 4/4 chorus, but like they do like that Aussie chant where it's like where they'll say something like 4 times and then like everybody will scream like oi 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 oi,
Yes. Oh man, I love that.
And like the cool thing I do like about that band is they talk about like what's going on in the UK right now, kind of the crazy politics that's going on in the UK. That's kind of like what they're using as like lyrics, and like it honestly has like a really cool like, and it has really good satire, and it just sounds pretty freaking awesome in my opinion.
Well, they should be doing that, especially because punk rock has been the, kind of talking about anti-government, or against the current establishment, I should more or less say. It's always been kind of the roots of punk rock, and hearing a UK band do that, similar to what certain US punk bands are really focusing on right now, it kind of goes hand in hand, but it's really nice to hear that there's a band out that's doing that specifically for the UK.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
But I've got, before I go into, music that you're looking forward to, I've got a question about an album that came out in January for you guys. And it's an album that I listened to it many times already, and it's definitely an album of the year contender. And it's, probably the punk rock band that's taking the U.S. by storm right now, which is the Fever 333 with their Strength in Numbers album. if you guys have heard of Fever 333.
I have not.
Me
No,
neither.
none of us.
Me neither.
Oh wow. I implore you guys to have a listen to their Strength in Numbers album. It came
Okay.
out in January. I believe it's a three-piece punk band from I believe they're from Los Angeles as well.
Oh, cool.
So I think you guys would just it's kind of a little bit of a different sound, but they just go absolutely hard right away. And they just don't really skip a beat. It's freaking awesome.
All right, we'll check it out for
Yeah.
sure.
We'll definitely check it out.
Actually, Seth just pulled it up.
Seth is a good man, he knows.
Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah, I don't know how we haven't heard of
I'll
him.
start listening to him.
I'd say for songs, just to kind of give you just a good taste of what they sound like, Burn It Down is a good one, because I think that was like the only single they released off the album before it fully released. The Animal's a good one, Pray For Me, and then I think the best song of the album after I've listened to it a good amount of times is The Innocent. It really hits hard on a lot of different topics that are just perfect for punk rock.
All right, we'll
Sick.
check it out for sure.
Yeah,
man.
definitely take a listen to it.
And then outside of, well, I think we already mentioned Slipknot's new album, and then Tool's new album as well. Well, hopefully it doesn't, get delayed. Any other new albums or new music that you guys are really big on that is set to be released before the end of the year?
Isn't Megadeth releasing something?
I thought they already did for some kind of something. I'm not entirely sure, but I know that they're having issues with just health issues,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, that just sucks. But I remember at the beginning of the year, I think I read something, probably on Loudwire or something, that they were releasing a full new album this year. But I could be wrong.
I think they might be working on stuff, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be released this year, and that might be one of the only times Loudwire has really gone away from just talking about Slipknot. As I just go to Loudwire right now, and the first thing on there is 2019's best metal song so far, and in the middle of the 3-person picture that they have up here, in the middle is Corey Taylor.
Of course. There's this meme, and it's all like it's a Loudwire, and it says if Corey Taylor breathes, and then it's the SpongeBob, and he looks at Patrick, and he's like, write that down.
That I think I saw another one too where it was the classic you had like the boardroom with like a boss and like 3 people in there. It's like, okay, we have to come up with a new idea, and it was like, okay, we need to do this. Talk more about Slipknot. Talk about Slipknot's new album. Why don't we talk about something else other than Corey Taylor for once? And then guy gets thrown out the window.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, and then we get, because Slipknot's album will come out, a week? Yeah, by the time we air this podcast, it'll come out a week and a half from then, so...
Yeah.
And you guys were big on the 2 singles that have come out, Unsainted, and what's the name of the other one? I can
All
never
Out
remember
Light.
it.
Soulwave First.
Yeah, Soulwave Firth. So what do you guys think about both those songs?
So Unsainted, I'm gonna be honest, not my favorite. It's good. Don't crucify me. But it's not my favorite.
No, I won't crucify you for that, because I totally agree.
Okay, cool. But Soulwave Firth, I think if the rest of the album sounds like that, it'll probably be one of my favorite Slipknot albums, because that song came out of nowhere and just punched everyone in the face.
I thought it had a certain drive to it where it really drove a lot like how every single song on Iowa felt. It just had that feel to it, which I was very big on.
I agree 100%. And that's why I'm so excited. I used to keep Iowa on repeat my sophomore year.
I have the CD of Iowa, but it got scratched, so I'm gonna buy a new one when the Tool CD comes out too. But yeah, no, the what was the name of it? That's a weird name.
Soulwave Firth.
Yeah, that song hits you like a truck, pretty much.
Yeah, especially with that intro.
Yeah, the intro is insane, but it hits you like Iowa's album does. Just straight into it, and then you listen to like People Equal Shit, and it's like, dude, they're fucking angry, And like, I guess like Slipknot kind of went a little down with like kind of their more recent stuff, but they're really coming back with this new album, which I hope the rest will be great. and I'm really looking forward to that one because, you know, it kind of went a little downhill after the third album.
I agree.
Because I don't know, I guess some of the stuff happened, and then like now they're starting to come back up, and I'm really excited for them.
I agree. In my opinion, after the third album, they kind of went into a little bit like more for edgier kids. You know what I'm trying to say?
Like the cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Cookie cutter metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Cookie cutter.
With like All Hope Is Gone, that album.
Yeah, because Psychosocial is a little bit more cookie cutter style, even though I actually really like the song.
It's a great song, but it's, in my opinion, it's not Slipknot. Like when I think of Slipknot, I think of Sick and like Heretic Anthem.
Yes.
And Spit It Out, my favorite Slipknot song, just because of how fast he freaking talks. My God. But yeah, that's more Slipknot for me.
Usually when I think of Slipknot, I'm always thinking like the Heretic Anthem, Duality, Wait and Bleed. And of course, the one that really kind of got me into the band at first is because, well, classic good old Guitar Hero when they had Before I Forget in Guitar Hero 3. And I could never, I remember that there was 4 songs in that grouping. I could never beat any of them, and I'm still mad about it. Because I could never beat Before I Forget, I could never beat Stricken by Disturbed, and that was basically how I started getting really into Disturbed. I could never beat 3s and 7s by Queens of the Stone Age or Knights of Sidonia by Muse. I could never beat those, and I'm still pissed about it.
That is so funny.
I actually learned most of Knights of Sidonia by Muse on bass just because I was bored.
That's so funny. I used to play Guitar Hero a lot, but I sucked at it, which was really weird because I was progressing really well at actual guitar. And I was always really confused by that.
Well, from talking with different people within the music industry, different guitarists and different drummers as well, a lot of people have said that when it came to guitar work between actual guitar and Guitar Hero, it was a lot different. It didn't have the same feel. It just the transition just never really worked well. But there were a lot of drummers that I knew, kids that, you know, or I had a drum teacher actually. He'd tell me kids would come in there like, yeah, do you know anything? He's like, well, we play, you know, Rock Band or Guitar Hero 4, and you know, now because they had the drums in number 4, and the guy's like, all right, let's see what you got, and they could actually play because it was a lot more consistent with what actual drumming was.
I agree. I believe there's no way they could have made that game feel like an actual guitar because it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
There'd be too much input and too much controls. It'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be too much.
The most recent Guitar Hero, it has like
live?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was weird. I remember trying it out at like Target one time a while ago, and like I was so confused about like how the buttons were, and then like around that time, Rocksmith came out, and like Rocksmith was a pretty big hit.
Rocksmith is a great idea, actually.
Rocksmith was a really good idea. I actually used that to just jam out for a bit. Like I would have like the simple like backing track of just whatever, and I would just freaking on a guitar kind of just teach myself how to play like weird suspended chords, teach myself scales, and like that actually kind of helped me a little more with like learning guitar a little bit more, because it was weird how I actually started to like become a musician. Is like my cousin back when I was in 6th grade, 5th grade, he had just gotten a guitar, and then you know, at my middle school we had the guitar class, took that for half a year, you know, learned basic chords, and then I thought, hey, it'd be funny to be a jazz musician. So I went to jazz with high hopes, and like I saw the sheet music and I was like, I can't do this. So, and then like I was talking to my dad one time, like right before my birthday, and I told him oh, I want to learn how to play bass because it looks fun, you know, it looks a little easier, you know? And then like, funny that I know, on my birthday, my dad comes in with a bass with a giant like hard case, a small amp, cables and everything, you know, to start learning how to play. And that's kind of where it took off pretty much.
Dude, that's absolutely awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yep. Now I can kind of compete with Aaron on like shredding here and there.
Ooh, let's calm down, buddy. Calm down.
That does happen. I try. I try on the bass.
It happens, and then I was like, just wanted to jump back to like the Guitar Hero stuff because I still remember like I always kind of wanted to, like, oh, it'd be cool just to play guitar and actually play these things real. But then I'm like, well, wait, I don't have any time. No, I was trying to play the drums, so there was nothing like that. But I still remember always like just randomly like, oh, I'm gonna play some Guitar Hero today just to play some of these songs, just to kind of jam out to them and just, oh, I'm not having a good day, so let's go all emo. Let's plug in, good old Guitar Hero 4. Having a bad day, feeling real sad. Let's just play the Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars like 10 times straight, and I'll be good to go.
That's funny. That's basically how band practice is. If I'm just like super mad one day, I'll just text the group chat and be like, guys, practice. And then we'll come and we'll write something and it'll just be like the best feeling in the world. And I'll go home and then I'm just like, I'm doing something right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how it is with all of us.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear because now I kind of get in a little bit more into your writing style where, if you get the feeling to do it, just go and do it. Because that's usually when your best stuff comes out.
Exactly. If you're forcing yourself to write, you're not going to write anything good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, and that's why one thing I really liked about one of the new albums my favorite band of all time, they announced that they're recording one of their next album, but they're not putting out an anticipated release date yet, just due to the fact that they want to make sure that when they write it, it's written the best way possible and that they're not forcing it, which, if I have to wait till 2021 to get it, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's always good. It's Rise Against. What else could you expect?
Heck yeah, man.
So, also, because you guys, you're in the music scene, you grew up with a lot of music influences, you've told me about some of the crazy stuff that's happened at shows that you've been to, or you've performed at, but what about shows that you've been to, like other bands that you've seen, maybe the really big bands or maybe some smaller bands? What shows have you gone to see that maybe been more transformative into your musical preference, your musical taste, how you play, how you write, or just some crazy ass stories from concerts you've been to?
I'd say possibly one of my favorite shows I've ever been to. It was about 4 months ago or so. I was gonna go to prom for high school, and then I said, you know what? Why am I going? And so I said no. And instead, I went to Chain Reaction in Anaheim, and I saw 1034, Chemical X, The Dumb Fucks, just a bunch of really good hardcore punk bands, local, just underground, killing it on stage. And they really, really changed how I act on stage because they were moving, they were jumping, they were pissed, they were yelling. People were going crazy in the goddamn pit, and it was just holy crap.
Did you jump into the pit?
Of course I did.
Yes! Alrighty, you clearly made the correct choice in saying fuck prom, I'm going to the show.
Of course.
If people don't like it, you can go fuck yourself because I'm having a good time. And if it's influenced how you perform live right now, you clearly made the right choice.
Yeah, I agree. It was possibly one of the best shows after Lamb of God and Behemoth, of course.
All right, what about the other guys? Any concerts, whether recent or when you were younger, that you just you remember fully, or just have some crazy story about ditching prom to go and see these shows?
Okay, so one of those shows that I went to, it was a while ago, so please don't judge me on this. But it was I went to a ska concert.
I will not judge you on that because sometimes ska music is absolutely fun to listen to and fun to be around, and I've heard those concerts can be absolutely insane. And I want to go. I want to go. But usually, if I go, I want to take my brother because my brother's a huge ska fan. But I've got a pretty good idea that if we go, where the crazier people are going to be is where I want to be, and where the more people are just kind of just trying to enjoy the music that's where he's going to want to be. So probably going to end up getting split up anyway at this show because, well, if there's a pit, I'm going right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, the concert. So I went with my sister to it was what was the name of it? It was called Suburban Legends. And it was just like really, really early, like when I was like just trying to play drums, like maybe like 8th or 9th grade. And like I didn't really know what I was doing at that point. But like just seeing like their stage presence, like the way that they just like acted on stage, the way that they were just like dancing, like having like a really good time. Like there's a part in the song where it would hit 3 times, like a bump, 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 da bump, bump, bump. And like they would like jump to the right side, they would jump to the left side, and it was just so cool. And I thought, like, man, this actually looks like a lot of fun. And that's what really like drove me into like actually like performing on stage and like trying to have a good time while I'm playing.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, just anything where you kind of just get inspired to just enjoy what you're doing. That's the best way to go about. And again, I still got to go see a ska show. I think you probably agree that you're probably going to want to go see another one just because, well, ska music's fun to listen to.
It's like, I want to hate it so bad, but it's just so much fun.
You can never
like, I can't hate it. It's like, I don't know. It's like,
it's hard to love, but it's harder to hate.
Exactly. We all have like that one friend where it's just like, I just don't like you, but you're so much fun. Like, I just, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm not really sure what way to explain it. It's because I'm not like, oh, I have to listen to ska music. I'm not that big on it. But if someone puts it on, or if I'm in a bar and all of a sudden ska music starts playing, like I actually get amped up because it's like, this is awesome. Who plays ska music in a bar?
I'm so happy right now.
Like that happened to me once. It was at I think it was it 2017 or 2018. In Milwaukee, they have this thing called the Shamrock Shuffle. It's just this huge citywide bar crawl, like 2 weeks before 2 weeks before St. Patrick's Day. Walked into this one bar, and because every other bar is playing, playing hip hop, they're playing anything you would normally get at a bar these days. I'm like, oh, this sucks. Walk into one, and they're playing Drunken Lullabies by Flogging Molly. I'm like, okay, this is good. All of a sudden, they jump to Beer by Real Big Fish. I'm like, okay, this is just getting more insane. I'm like, there's a couple ways this could get better for me, but if they keep with the ska and with the Irish music, I am good to go. Then they completely changed courses and played The Violence by Rise Against, and I look at my buddy, I'm just like, we have to stay here for the rest of the fucking shuffle because they're playing kick-ass music. I think that was the bar we spent the most amount of time at because that bar was also the most fun. I mean, we were getting free beer left and right out of nowhere, so the bartenders were like, you guys are having fun. Here, have a beer. I'm like, well, thank you. I'm not used to this. I feel like a hot chick. Well, the hot chicks were still having to pay full price, so haha, I win.
There's always the catch.
Well, I didn't have to pay, so I was good.
Oh, yeah? Hey.
For the one time this happened. It's like, this bar is perfect. I want to come here all the time now. I think I went back to that bar twice, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Well, one was for a Milwaukee Bucks playoff game, and so everyone's watching basketball. And then the second time, I think it was for the Shamrock Shuffle this past year.
Nice.
And they were really just playing like the Irish music, so it was a lot of Flogging Molly, Dropkick Murphys, Gaelic Storm, and I looked at my buddy, and I'm like, yeah, we're staying here.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, that song, $20 Hoe, about the prostitute, that is a ska punk song.
Yes!
Like, it starts off super ska, and then the chorus just punches you in the face with some punk, and then it goes back to the ska feel, and it's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting experimentation, and I'm not sure if I necessarily listened to that song, but if I will after this, if you guys pulled it off, that transition perfectly, then you got something, and you were inspired to write that song really right off of that incident.
Yep.
Yeah. He told us, and we're like, we have to write that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was great. That was where a baby was born. Like, like can you have a song was born?
Yeah,
it was conceived and born all within one night.
Exactly.
It was a fruit fly. but it was like a giant fruit fly, like a 6 foot tall one, human size.
Yeah, and
That'd
it
be
lasts
scary
about like
as
minutes.
shit.
Just like Seth.
Whoa.
Ow.
I'm sorry. Who has had 2 girlfriends in the past 2 months?
I'll have you know 3, thank you.
God.
Hey, you're doing better than me. I'm at 0 in the past 2 years, so woohoo.
Like Robert.
Hey, Robert, I feel you on that one. We're in the same boat.
Oh man.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as we're as friends, as long as we're all together writing
Yeah.
music and having
yeah.
fun, it doesn't matter if I have a girlfriend or not. It just matters that, you know, I'm having fun with everybody and stuff.
Yep, as long as we're in a dry season.
As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters, especially when you're working in a band, because if you're not having fun with it, you're just not going to create the best stuff. If you're having fun with it, if you're enjoying all the time you're spending on the music and playing and performing and just doing everything you can to make it as big as you want, you're just going to live life. You're going to, you're going to basically win life. If you're happy, you win life. That's it.
Amen. There you go.
All right, well, I got 2 of you for that crazy concert. We have ska concert when you were like 8th, 9th grade, and we have skipping prom to go to just see a bunch of great punk bands. So I've got one more. Who hasn't gone yet?
Robert.
I haven't.
All right, Robert, give it to me.
Okay, so my one of my best concert experiences was I went to go see the band Gojira. I went to go see them at the House of Blues in Anaheim. It was honestly like one of the most insane shows I've probably ever seen, because it was really like my first metal concert, you know. But the funny story about that was I had bought the tickets not knowing who was going to go with me, and I called my friend last minute like, hey, do you want to go? And he's like, heck yeah, I'll go. And I was like, sweet. So apparently, my mom, it was like before I started driving on my own. So like my mom was going to go to Disneyland while me and my friend went to go see the show. But my mom thought that House of Blues was still in downtown Disney, but it was like a mile away. So me and my friend booked it to the House of Blues, and we made it just in time to watch some of the bands. It was like the first band, they were named Oni. God, those guys were crazy. We made it for like the last 2 songs, and like everyone was just kind of like jumping, throwing their arms up. But as soon as like the last song hit, you know, you hear that line that every singer says at the last song, you know, like, I want to see a fucking pit open up center stage, you know. And like as soon as me and my friend got inside, out of breath, we looked at each other and just ran in. We just ran into the pit, and like we just moshed for a good 5 minutes. And then they left. They took the little intermission between the bands. The second band was whatever. It was really like, they were like a really slow Mastodon with a lot of like reverb, kind of super echoey.
Ooh.
And then yeah, it was bad. Everybody was just kind of bobbing their head and stuff. There was no feeling of like wanting to like jump up and start a pit or anything. But then when Gojira came on, oh my god. I remember one of the things I remember was when they started playing their song Only Pain, because that was their opener for that set. It was Only Pain, and like the first thing that happens is like it's dark, and then, like you hear the guitar do the whole like feedback volume swell, and you hear the drums start just going off. And I remember I was trying to get front stage, like front row, like in like the crowd. I turn around behind me and there's a pit pretty much as big as the dance floor, pretty much as big as a dance floor. I turn around, I say fuck it, and throw myself backwards into the pit. I did not stop moshing until that concert was over. That was a good hour.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, that's how you got to do it, because how else? I mean, if that's the way you're going to enjoy a concert, I enjoy it that way too, but there are other times where I have to just get out there because, hey, it might be just a little bit too hot. I just want to catch my breath and, well, get some videos of whatever's going on to put them online, put them on Instagram. But I just love going in the pit, and I have a completely same like memory of there's one show I went to earlier this year where it's like the opening band, last song, like I want to see a fucking circle pit, mosh pit in the middle, and everyone kind of rushes there, and I mean, and you just run, everyone rushes all at the same time. I got fucking rocked, just completely rocked, lost my shoes, and it was a good time.
Yeah, no, and it was funny because people were trying to like take videos of Gojira playing, and like he got mad at everybody. He goes, "I want everybody to put their fucking phones away and just mosh."
That sounds like what I've heard when Lamb of God last time they came to Milwaukee, where just because they played at a like concert hall, like a ballroom style type room. It was the whole floor was the mosh pit. There was nowhere else to be.
That was beautiful.
I was like, damn, I wish I would have been at that show.
I know.
Lamb of God is one of the best shows you will ever go to.
Dude, isn't the Slipknot concert like this weekend?
Oh, I think it might be.
It is.
Is that for like the Knotfest traveling show?
Yeah.
Road show.
Don't they have Volbeat opening up for him for that one?
Yeah.
Volbeat,
Behemoth.
It was Volbeat, Behemoth, Gojira, Lamb of God, and then
I don't think it was Lamb of God. No.
Out of that, I would want to also see Volbeat as well. I've got a thing for Volbeat. I just like their sound.
I've actually never fully heard Volbeat, which is surprising. Like, I did have a friend like mention them to me, and it was like, I kind of checked out one of their songs, but it was like, I don't know. To me, it kind of didn't stick.
They've got a very interesting sound. I don't know if it's necessarily the best way to put it. It sounds like it's kind of like it's got like a weird 90s rock vibe to it. And then their lead singer has a very unique sound to them, but that's because, well, they're Danish. They're from Denmark. So I've kind of got that. It's trying to hear them, sing English words at times. It kind of sounds like they're running together a little bit. But the way it kind of progresses is interesting. I know they got a new album coming out Friday, August 2nd, so might be a good way to see like some new stuff that they got coming out. Along with Slipknot as well, of course.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You can't discount them because, well, they're the fucking headliner. It's their fest.
If a band has a damn festival, you know they're good.
Yeah.
And then I think like on the day of the album release, of course they're playing at the Iowa State Fair. And
right.
I'm pissed off, like, Iowa State Fair gets the best bands because it's, you're going to get, like, Slipknot every year, and then just a bunch of other metal bands are going to follow suit because, hey, Slipknot's playing this state fair. This is, like, the metal state fair.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, what else is in Iowa?
Nothing.
Corn.
Literally the only thing ever to come out of Iowa is Slipknot.
Corn, not the band, the vegetable.
Band.
Corn the vegetable and Slipknot. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
If it wasn't for Slipknot, they would still just be Corn, but not Corn, not Korn, Corn CORN.
No.
Yeah.
I've actually been to where Corn is from because we live relatively close to it. It's just in Bakersfield, so it's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
And so there's this street called like Corn Row or Corn Way or something like that.
I really hope it's Corn Row.
I kind of do too.
Oh.
It'd be amazing. But the sign, the street sign, is literally painted with their like logo.
Oh, that's
so it's not like the normal like street logo, like the street font. It's the Corn. It's spelled Korn. It's got like the font for Corn, and all that.
Sick.
It's really cool.
I'm gonna have to go check that out. But I've only ever been to California once, so.
Well, if you come, hit us up. Come to the show.
If you guys have a show going on when I show up there, but I don't know when the next time I'll have a chance to really show up there.
We'll put on one just for you.
And then we can live stream the whole thing.
Hell yeah, man.
There we go.
Bring it. Let's do it.
That's not a bad idea.
It actually isn't.
Because I know one of the bands I've featured on Small Band Saturday is actually the first band I actually interviewed on this. They actually do a live stream performance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, every Wednesday.
Huh.
So I was like, oh shoot, it's like if I came out, I'd be like, we'd basically just set up the whole entire thing and live stream it right off of the My Song of the Day stuff. Be like, hey, look what we're doing today.
Yeah.
You guys better fucking watch.
That's pretty sick, actually.
Watch or die.
Watch her die.
It's like the P Diddy vote or die campaign back in the '90s. It's like now it's watch or die. It's all punk rock.
Yeah.
I just heard about that like last week too. That is so funny you bring that up.
Well, I completely forgot about it until I heard Watch or Die, and then all of a sudden my mind went to that because I kept thinking of the South Park episode where Stan wasn't going to vote for a giant douche or a turd sandwich, and P. Diddy was starting to kill him. So that's how weird my mind works at times. It just goes in completely different places at any given moment.
I love that. That's amazing.
It's the only way I can survive working a full-time job.
Of course.
Well, along with listening to podcasts and then also freaking people out like I did today on my way into work, which was absolutely hilarious. Pull into the lot, and I was listening to Motionless in White the whole entire ride there, but I'm like, well, I always, like, if I drive in, like, I usually end up blasting something. But, like, I kind of listen to Motionless in White the whole entire week while going into work, so I kind of wanted to change it up. And I've got, my windows down, stereo, full blast, no matter what, all the time. It's just the way it has to be. And as I'm pulling in, all of a sudden, this one guy, probably like 50, 55 years old, pulls in right next to me. And as hilarious as this is going to be, he pulls in and was scared shitless because I was blasting The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson.
Oh,
and
no.
And I felt like he was looking over me, so I slowly turned my head towards him, and I just started mouthing the words like, the beautiful people, the beautiful people. And this guy looked at me, he's like, I look like the devil child or something. And then all of a sudden busts into the chorus, and I'm just going nuts in the car, just having a good time because I'm like, I gotta just, get some angst out before I go into work because otherwise I'm gonna be a very angry person the whole entire day. And just after that, I'm like, you know what? Today's gonna be a good day.
Oh, man.
That's a solid start to your day.
For sure.
I honestly do that all the time too when it just comes to pulling a lot, and it's always I'm listening to something that's gonna potentially scare people.
I went to I go to a rock climbing gym every now and again, and like if you stay really late, the last guy there who's like watching the place, he'll start playing like Megadeth or Slayer. Or like the last time I was there, he started playing Into the Fire and the Flames.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Because all these like hippie indie like rock climber people that like, oh yeah, go to Joshua Tree over the weekend. Like all those kind of people, they were so scared. They're like, what is this? What is this?
Where's the chorus pedal? The singer.
Where's the reverb?
Wait.
So funny.
It's like, wait, the Killers aren't playing? What is this?
Oh my gosh.
We call those kids bitch ass indie kids.
Yeah.
We actually just have a new song on the album called that.
Nice.
Yep. It's like what, a minute long?
Yeah, it's exactly a minute long.
Oh yes. It's like 300 BPM or something crazy.
It's stupid.
Holy shit! I can't wait to hear that one.
Oh yeah, we'll send it your way.
Oh, please do. I because just with everything else that goes on with this, I just don't want anything to fall through the cracks. I said, especially if I want to hear this when it comes out. Just DM me back on Instagram and just send like the link to Spotify or something if you have it on there, and I'll be like, oh, holy shit, this is the bitch ass rock climber song. Let's go.
It's real.
It's real. It's a thing.
It has come and happened.
Yeah, it's a big problem in California. All these freaking indie kids.
Yeah, that's why I wrote a song about it.
Yeah, like we're sick of it, man. Like we played a show. It was the same show with the prostitute at the end.
Oh yeah.
And like it was all indie bands and us.
Yeah.
And it was just weird.
Oh yeah, and Apollo 3.
Oh, Apollo 3 and then Petrus.
Yeah.
Which is our metal band friend. But yeah like it was just gross.
Yeah. I went to the main stage and there was actually like an indie band playing, and some guy was doing like weird like Photoshop art in the back. Or like, no, not even Photoshop. He was like using dyes or whatever.
Oh
so
yeah,
like,
he had the overscreen projector.
Yeah.
Back.
And it was like weird time shit. It was so weird.
It was okay. So the music was whatever, but you have to admit when you see the giant like moving like tie dye, it's pretty badass.
It is, but it kind of ruins it when you can see the guy doing it on the stage.
Oh yeah, yeah. You just
I
gotta
put him backstage. What the
You
hell?
see the dude in the corner with like the overscreen projector. And he's kind of like trying to go with the music, like trying to sway with the music while he's moving it.
It's just like, stop. Just
And
don't do
It was
this.
just like, come on, dude, you can do better.
That sounds like what one of my soccer coaches would always say if something was like if it was something like, hey, you should have done this, but you just sucked at it. It's, hey, great idea, horrible execution. I got a good number of those when I was playing soccer. Trust me, so I kind of get that. But yeah, even we have the same. Sometimes we have the same problem here as well, but it's a little bit less of a problem just because there's a serious rock and metalcore, heavy metal community that it's just when shows come to town, it's just everyone just shows up out of nowhere. But it's just when you hear people talking about music or you see like the big music festival around Milwaukee like Summerfest, it's you barely get any rock, like actual rock or metal bands, and when you do, it's security never understands what the hell goes on because this was a month ago. I saw August Burns Red at Summerfest, and it was a bunch of like rappers and like indie artists that were on all the other stages. I forgot who and some country artists. And they had like 6 security guards up front for August Burns Red. That's a horrible idea when you get a bunch of kids who are just trying to mosh, and all we had was like a 4-foot like wide space to do it in because they had all these benches all around everywhere. We're like, we got to get rid of these benches. Look over to the other side of the stage, and there are people picking up the benches and standing them upright because we just want to fucking mosh. And all of a sudden, you just see all these security guards come out of the woodwork, just like, gotta stop this because I understand if that one of those if we had the benches stood up and all of a sudden it fell on somebody, that'd be a horrible thing.
That would be bad.
But still, I'm like, I was thinking they're never gonna be allowed back after this.
Nope.
I mean, I think that's the same reason why Summerfest has not had Hollywood Undead for like the past 6 years because I think we did something stupid one year. I just can't remember what it was.
There's always one guy that ruins it. Like, there's always, but like, okay, why would you bring security guards to a metal band that like their fans smash into each other for fun?
Well, it's not that. We just didn't have any real space to do it in because they have all these metal benches down on the ground for people to just you sit on them, and then all of a sudden the band comes and you stand on top of them. And of course we're gonna mosh in the fucking front row where it's only 4 foot wide between the first row benches and the barricade up to the stage. So people are getting knocked left and right. I almost tore my ACL 3 times because I'm getting knocked and all of a sudden my leg gets caught and I'm bending. I'm like getting like bent over the bench. And luckily, the one time I thought it was going to happen, I was able to just like grab onto somebody so my knee didn't completely start bending. I didn't hear that pop. But it's just, I've said this on a couple other instances. It'd be so much better if they would just take those benches during metal shows, like just a small group of them up front and tip them up and just hold them up. Just because then you're going to give the people a place to mosh where you're going to want them to mosh, which is going to be right in front of the band, and they're going to have the space to do it in.
Exactly.
And plus, like, everyone knows the rules of the mosh pit. It's someone gets knocked down, you pick them right back up. If someone's being a dick and like trying to hurt people, it's like hockey rules. You just it's you go after them. I've seen that happen a couple of times where I'm trying to think, where was that? It was when I saw Seven Dust. There was one guy that was just trying to hurt people, and we did not take it lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's surprising how safe a mosh pit is.
It is. It's amazing. It's organized chaos.
So damn time. Seth cannot freaking stay on his feet in the damn pit.
Okay, we were at the House of Blues and we were moshing and like Robert like smacks into me and I like slide across the floor.
Literally the whole thing.
It was great. And then like another big guy like came and he smacked into me and then I fly out. This happened like 3 times. It was so much fun though. I was so sore the next day, but it was great. It was great. Well worth it.
Concrete floor and he's falling on his ass sliding across the damn venue.
And happy doing it.
Oh, that happened something like that similar happened to me when I went to go see earlier this year. I went to go see Motionless in White, and I got the same guy. I got hit in the neck with his fist, like within the same spot in the neck within the span of like 5 seconds, because I got hit, someone picked me right back up. I got thrown right into the like out of the edge of the pit. People pushed me right back in, and the guy just ended up hitting me again, completely on accident. Just was not trying to do that, but then I couldn't breathe for like maybe like 30 seconds, and at the end of the song, because then it was right at the end of the set before they came back to do like 2 more songs. I think it's like, "Are you okay?" I'm just looking like, "You hit me in the neck, same spot, twice in a row." He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." I'm like, "I know, rules of the pit makes sense. I got it."
While you're gasping for air. It's fine. It's fine.
I mean, I was gasping for air. It was not good. But then at the next song, some kid said, someone hit me, and I took that as literal as possible, and I just came up and completely decked him out of nowhere, and he fell on the ground. I see he kind of smacked his head. I think he got a concussion. I'm like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." It's like I was like you said, hit me, so I did. And he's like, "I think I'm okay," but I'm like, "No, dude, you're probably gonna want to sit the rest of this out." And he just looked at me. He's like, "I kind of asked for it, didn't I?" yeah, you did, bud.
Oh man, that's good.
All right, I got one last question for you guys, because looking at my time, we're almost at an hour and a half, which I am absolutely floored at. But want to let you guys get onto your stuff, and I got some other stuff here I want to talk about. So I got one more question for you guys, if you guys will let me ask it.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Please do.
So I know a lot of people don't have 2020 vision, but with 2020 being next year, at this point the day the episode airs will be July 30th. So on July 30th, 2020, where do you see the band? Kind of what's your prediction? What are your plans? And where are you going to go from here?
By July 2020.
We'll be playing the center. No,
Jesus Christ.
I'm kidding. No,
Calm down.
No.
We will be Slayer. No. I'm thinking July 2020. That's a whole year. It'll be summer. We won't be doing anything. We'll be on tour.
Yeah.
I feel like with that, we'd probably be playing. Maybe we might be one of the main bands.
Yeah.
On the main stage at House of Blues. That's how I feel. Like, because if we're getting this, because we kind of started off slow, but after we got our recent singer Parker, sucks that he couldn't be here today. Really sucks.
Yeah.
But with him, it was like
just everything changed.
Everything changed. Our whole dynamic writing music and like our music writing and then like our recording.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It kind of took like 4, giant steps forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because like with our other singers, it was 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It was painstakingly annoying with our like with our original singers. First one was busy.
Mm-hmm.
Second one wasn't that good.
Third one was an asshole.
Yeah, third one was an asshole, and he even told us straight up he has commitment issues and he doesn't like being told what to do.
He left 10 minutes after a show.
Yeah, he left 10 minutes after our show. Like,
who does he think he is? Axl Rose? Come on.
Seriously.
But with Parker, our current singer, it was just a huge leap forward, And
it's just wild how much good feedback we get from people. They're like, the first show with Parker, I remember talking to my friends who have been to every single one of our shows and them just going, "Dude, you guys are a totally different band now. You guys are 10 times better than the last time I saw you." And it's like a realization moment. And I think with the lineup we have right now and the music that we're about to put out, and then a lot of plans that I have that I haven't told anyone, and I'm not going to, that we could be doing something cool by next year for sure.
Yeah. And it was actually kind of part of the plan to go on tour like today, like this summer.
Yeah.
But like it just didn't work
Didn't
out.
quite make it.
it didn't.
Yeah, but
make
like
it in time.
Like now that we like know that we want to go on tour by next summer, like we're gonna like make plans and like plan accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any plans exactly where you want to go on tour?
It depends on
Yeah.
really what we're big enough for.
You were talking about Oxnard, right?
Yeah, I'm talking like Southern California up to like Central California. Probably just stay in California.
For the first.
Yeah.
For
Because
first.
a lot of money, a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could probably pull it off.
If you can pull it off, that'd be amazing. Just because now you're getting a lot more exposure, just playing shows, and because other people are gonna come to those shows to see different bands that are playing alongside with you guys. All of a sudden, it's like, oh shoot, I like them. Gotta listen to them more.
Exactly. I can't even tell you how many times that has happened where someone went to a show for someone else and then they heard us. Our last show, we opened for a band, Delete Insert. They're local, but they're a bigger band locally. And like their fans for some reason liked us, even though we're like completely different music.
Oh yeah.
But it was cool to see these other fans enjoying our stuff, even though our fans are like off to the side kind of thing.
Another funny little tangent about Delete Insert is they're actually friends with a cousin of mine because they all went to the same high school.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I told you guys at the show.
You did?
Yes, I did.
I have a terrible memory.
Oh, I guess you do that. No, but yeah, I because we also kind of played at the Fox Theater. They were playing on the main stage, but they were like the last band. So like I didn't really get a chance to see them.
Right. Now I remember. Okay. Yeah.
And then at the Glass House, we saw that they were the last band also. And like it was funny because like we saw them and we kind of like walk in and like, our band, we're all big fans of Magic, Magic the Gathering, the card game, the whole card game, right? We walk in and we see Delete Insert playing Magic, and like we all kind of just gravitated towards them. We're all just kind of like, yo, that's so cool. And then like, yeah, we just kind of like started forming like a friendship with them too, and we're hoping to do probably maybe a couple like pop-up shows, maybe before the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, it's amazing what you can do in our region of Southern California, just how densely populated it is and the different music people listen to here. It's pretty amazing because you'll go out and play a show and these kids will be listening to something stupid and then they'll hear us and it's like, oh, that's different. That's not what people are listening to today, but I really like that.
Use that to your advantage. I mean, again, you've got how many people live in LA County? Like 10 million. I mean, you've got a whole bunch of people to work with.
Too many because it's overpopulated here.
Yeah.
But that's a different political issue that we don't have to get into at the moment. Well, I will issue guys a challenge before I send you guys on your merry way to probably write some more kick-ass music and to practice and shit. I don't even know what you guys are doing later today, but
we're practicing, yeah.
Hell yeah. So I'm going to issue you guys a challenge. Well, actually, two things. One, when you complete that song that you were telling me about, please send it to me. I want to hear it.
Definitely.
We'll definitely send it to you.
And second, now not 2020, but 2021. So 2 years from now, this is the challenge I have for you guys. I want to get a message from you guys that says, hey Kevin, we're playing a show in either Minneapolis, Minnesota, Madison, Wisconsin, hopefully Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Chicago. We made it here. Come check us out. I want to see that, guys. I want to see it. Because if you send me that, I will fucking be there.
Dude, you just gave me like chills just hearing that. Like, just picturing me texting you that's just crazy. But
or even just thinking about like, hey, remember that interview that we had 2 years ago? Hey, let's text that guy.
We gotta text that guy. We're going to his hometown.
Yeah, because if I get a text that says, hey Kevin, we're coming to Milwaukee, be prepared. I'm gonna look at I'll probably be sitting at my computer like maybe doing something like this, maybe shooting a podcast episode. And if I get a text during that episode or during a YouTube video or during something, I might just be like, oh, let's check this out. Holy shit! They fucking did it!
They're alive. They're still together.
It's like, and then I'll say, it's like, are you coming to the show? I'm really gonna drop my phone, be like, fuck yeah, I'm coming to the show. Oh shit, I gotta actually type that back. Fuck yeah, coming to the show.
Look, man, we will try our very freaking hardest to make it to Milwaukee by 2021.
That's my challenge for you guys.
Just another quick little thing is knowing how we are all like as friends, we're not gonna kind of like separate and kind of go our own ways. I feel like by 2021 or even like 2030, we're still gonna be all best friends, and
For sure.
we're still gonna continue to write music, and we're gonna who knows, probably do a nationwide tour by 20. No, I'm being an optimist. I want to be an optimist about it, and by 2025, I want us to be doing like a nationwide tour, throughout the U.S.
Okay.
Well, again, guys, you've got my challenge, and I'm not hoping you execute on it. I'm expecting you execute on it.
Oh,
my
man,
gosh.
we will. Just for you.
Just for you, man. Nobody else.
But
Just you.
don't do it for me. Do it for you guys. Do it for you guys. Come on.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, we'll do that too, but it's mainly just for you.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I will send you on your merry way so you can get back to practicing and writing some kick-ass punk rock. Love talking to you guys. And, well, I really hope to get that message in 2021. Or even 2020.
Yeah,
We'll see.
that'd be better.
We'll see. All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care.
All right, you too. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being on the podcast, guys.
Yep, we'll see you later.
See ya. Alrighty, so that was Total Eclipse you just heard, and that was freaking awesome. Hearing all those stories and that issuing that challenge, they said they got goosebumps and got some chills. Even I got chills issuing that challenge. Fucking loved it. If you are in the Southern California area, check out Total Eclipse at a show near you. I mean, just find out where they are. Just follow them on social media. All their social media stuff will be in the description. I'll find it all and I'll put it in the description for you guys to follow it and find that stuff. So, now with that done, we've got new music to talk about. We kind of went into Soulway Firth a little bit. I didn't say I was really going to go into it, but we kind of did with them, which I'm actually pleased with. But I've got two singles I want to talk about. I will not be talking about the Skillet one just because I think I've talked about Skillet to death already. And I'm kind of waiting for the podcast right after that new album comes out to really go deep dive into all of that. But I got two singles to talk about. One is, now this was the one, I'll talk about the one that recently came out that I just kind of dropped out of nowhere, even though I like to say dropped out of nowhere. But, I mean, it was going to happen anyway. Alter Bridge, Walk the Sky album coming out in October. Their second single, Pay No Mind. So, listen to this song actually right before the podcast I recorded here. And I wanted to get my full take on it to really get a feel of it. Because when I listened to Wouldn't You Rather, it sounded like a good song. It just didn't seem like the vocal pairing that Miles Kennedy was using in that song really meshed with the song well. But I did like what the saving grace of that song was Mark Tremonti's guitar work. Now, when I went to Pay No Mind, I thought, now this is what I expected from Walk the Sky. This sounds like that classic, that just good Alter Bridge sound where everything's mixing together. The drums and bass, Mark Tremonti's guitar, Miles Kennedy's vocals. Everything on this song is really done well. I don't want to go too much further into it because I really did like the track. Outside of that, I don't want to butcher it too much. I do think you guys should definitely have a listen to it if you haven't already. It's called Pay No Mind by Alter Bridge. It has that classic Alter Bridge sound, and I'm psyched. This makes me more psyched for this album to come out now due to the fact that I am really happy at the direction they took on this song, and now I can kind of see that this album might be a little bit more experimental in some sorts, but still is going to sound, have that classic Miles Kennedy, Mark Tremonti, Alter Bridge sound. So, happy about that. The other one, and we finally fucking got it. We finally did on Wednesday the 24th. We finally got Adam Gontier coming back with Saint Asonia 4 years after the original album, and 3 years after their last release of I Don't Care Anymore, the cover of the Phil Collins song. They came out with The Hunted, featuring Sully Erna of Godsmack. Now, this is their first single off of their new album, which is expected to come out sometime this fall. I have not seen a concrete release date up to this point, but if it's coming out in the fall, this is going to be one hell of a second half of the year. Listening to The Hunted it doesn't necessarily have as deep of a lyrical content and a deep of a message that I have seen from a lot of different other songs that Adam Gontier has produced and come out with. And I'm not saying that it doesn't have that completely. What I'm saying is ooh, that was freaky. What I'm saying is it just doesn't have up to the, that top tier standard that I've seen from Adam Gontier. It doesn't have, it doesn't go in as deep as something like Never Too Late, Lost in You. Then I'm thinking like 3 Days Grace on that one. Animal I Become. Just Like You. It kind of has that I Hate Everything About You lyrical where it goes somewhat deep but doesn't go super. I mean, I Hate Everything About You goes super deep. I'm trying to think of something that doesn't go super deep. Kind of like Break. Or Let Me Live My Life from Saint Asonia. It doesn't go as deep as like Fairy Tale does or Happy Tragedy. I do like Happy Tragedy though. So the way the music was written though, and Adam Gontier's voice, everything on that is done rather well. It's a great driving song. The only real knock I have on this song is with the Sully Erna feature. No. Do not think that I am like, oh, I wish they wouldn't have featured Sully on this song. I'm glad they featured Sully on this song. My issue with it is how little of an impact I believe his feature actually had. Because it does have a point to it where it does have a feature. And it does sound like when it's just his isolated vocals with Saint Asonia's guitar work and, the instrumentation, everything like that. It sounds like old classic Godsmack, which I love. I love the way they move that into it. But he repeats basically the same line 4 times. And then they jump into the final part of the final chorus on the song, and it's Adam Gontier. And I think Sully Erna is in that, but you just hear really Adam Gontier's voice, and it's like Sully's kind of backing it up at the end. I wish they would have had a little bit more of a prominent feature for Sully on this one instead of just saying the same line 4 times. But it does sound like original Godsmack, which is really freaking cool. Outside of that, am I excited for the new Saint Asonia record drop in the fall? Absolutely. I'm a huge Adam Gontier fan because I believe his voice is something that's incredibly unique. I don't think it's in that, again, upper tier of completely unique voices where it's, you lose that and you completely lose everything you had. Much like Freddie Mercury, much like David Draymond, much like Chester Bennington. But he's in that just tier below it, and I put him in there. I put like Tim McElrath in there, Ben Burnley in there. Where it's like they have distinct voices and it's them and they drive so much, but they're just not in that top tier echelon like David Draymond or Chester. I'm super excited about that album though because I do like Adam Gontier's voice. I like the sound because I always think Saint Asonia is like 3 Days Grace Part 2 because it has it. It's you could tell when 3 Days Grace was with Adam Gontier, he had the most influence on any of it, and you can see that again in Saint Asonia, and I'm happy for it. Adam came out with a great track, loving it. And can't wait to see what's on the rest of the album. Guys, I gotta say, now this as a podcast was freaking fun. Got to talk with a great punk band who will be featured on October 19th, and their sister band will be featured the week beforehand. How cool is that? And that was by sheer coincidence. We did not plan that out at all. It just happened. I am actually really stoked for that. And we got to talk about some new music. Next week's podcast, I've got 2 albums that are coming out. We've got Volbeat coming out with their album, Rewind, Replay, Rebound, and then Skillet's Victorious. So we'll be diving into those on next week's podcast. I might have another guest. I might not. I don't know at this point. But then give you a little bit of another tidbit. The week after that, I might do a greatest hits one, kind of just take some good stuff from the bands we've already had, because I will be out of the country, and I won't really have access to my soundboard. So we'll see what happens there, but just kind of give you guys a little take on what's to come. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast because I enjoyed talking to Total Eclipse. I hope that they take that challenge seriously, and I hope to see them in Milwaukee. Again, as I end this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by My Song of the Day, the best rock community on the internet. Check us out on all the social media platforms and everywhere you can find us. Links in the description. And you guys know how I end all these podcasts. I love you guys, but I got to end this podcast the same way. I'm not saying I love you, but I still do love you.